have the privilege to be a dad now, since 7 months. And I'm noticing tendencies when I'm with my kid, trying to merge with the kid. And it's something that it's like a kind of symbiotic melting. It's what kids do with their parents. And I've often have found this around big gurus, that the disciple tries to merge with the guru. But it's a very childlike organization in our nervous system that's more like symbiotic melting, where the one who is gives himself up and tries to merge with the parent. And the effect that it has that you forget yourself temporarily and you experience a false sense of intimacy. But the moment it's over and it's like that symbiotic moment is over, you fall back into the old organization. And you have two choices. Either you want to have it again, so you're actually already addicted, you become dependent on, or you start to see where there's some lacks in your nervous system that actually generate that symbiotic, that it's like trying to be really close without knowing how to be really close. So it's a very tricky, I have explored this so many times because I was falling into that trap so often with teachers, with my partners, and I thought, that's it. But it was more like a pause of myself. It was like I forgot myself for a moment. It's like I can see that now with my daughter. If she has pain, and she doesn't know what to do with the pain, and I take her and let her feel my body, she calms down. She disappears for a moment. She says, I'm not alone. Yeah, but in the moment, since I'm conscious, when it's over, it's like I give it back to her again, so she can continue. And if this is not experienced consciously, it becomes, it's like a kind of dependency, almost like a codependency, because both parties are involved in it. It's sophisticated. I mean, I would need a whole retreat to explore this, because it goes deep into some unconscious functioning of old wounds in us. A lack of intimacy, a lack of empathy that most of us have been experiencing when we were very, very young in our life. And that lack makes us look for that symbiotic connection, but the symbiotic connection is a childlike connection. It is not a mature connection. It's a very, very fine distinction. Yeah, it's the serious stuff. I mean, and yeah, but it's a very. Just take a moment just to feel that.
So if you get lost in music, it's the same thing.
Same thing.
If you get lost in beautiful painting.
Yeah. Yes. Same. It's beautiful. It has. I mean, it is something our nervous system can learn to let go of that resistance and to give itself. But it's not the final. It's an intermediate step before you discover. Okay, it's here, it's there, and at the same time, we meet. So there's a sense of non-separation, but at the same time, there's a clear identification of or sense of, but I'm still here. I'm not there, and that's. For me, the difference between symbiotic melting and really connecting on eye level, But for this, I have to be aware that who I am. You have to be aware of who you are. Then we can meet as one, but still knowing where our boundaries are. And that's something that needs a lot of maturity. I've been falling into that trap millions of times, and I thought this is oneness, but it's actually symbiosis. It's different. Do you know what I'm talking about, guys? It's a very, very fine line, and thank you for bringing up that question. Please. No, maybe the gentleman, sorry, I saw, and then maybe it's going to be you. Yeah, the gentleman with the white t-shirt.
I don't know if you have to say more, but to me, it was enough to hear what you just said. I felt a tremendous shift now when you said about the focus.
That's all.
Yeah, so this is it?
This is it.
That's it?
Goodbye, enjoy.
I can go?
You look, what's your name?
Moises?
Moises?
Yes.
Okay. Look, ultimately, if you take that from these last 30 minutes, you've got everything to live, to explore the functioning of consciousness in your own life. There's experience, this is not in your hands. Awareness is already here, you cannot reach it because it's already here. And there's a movement of different focuses. Yeah. The only thing, what is interesting that I've found out is, and maybe this is interesting for you, that what has been noticed in this system, that there were moments when that shift of attention was happening it was happening automatically. I wasn't asked. And I felt there was a pleasant moment, and I don't know, for example, my wife is not in a good mood and she tells me something in a kind of energy that I don't enjoy, and whoop, my focus goes there and my piece is over. Huh? Okay, so in that moment I realized, interesting. There must be something that is triggered here that pulls my focus without me agreeing in this. Because I was not agreeing in being in a narrow focus. I wanted to enjoy. So throughout the last 16 years, there was an interest in me to go deeper into what happens in my body on the level of, I call it old information in my cells, that when it was triggered, that pulled the focus in an unnatural way. No, not conditioning. It was, maybe it's the same what you mean. For me, it's like old information. For example, like, I give you an example that I was troubled very much in my life, especially when I was together with someone I love. What happened very often is that when I was around someone, that when my system detected that the other person didn't feel and see me. Do you know that feeling? Not being fully seen and felt, which is the biggest pain of humanity, that we don't feel seen and felt. What happened in my system, that in my consciousness, there was an automatic happening of focusing on that person. It's like my, shifting there and trying to make the other person see and feel me. Does anybody recognize this? Yeah. Of course you do this, because it's what you're actually dealing with every moment of your life. And it doesn't matter if it's your wife or if it's your teacher, it's exactly what happens.
See you or understand you?
Say?
Or understand you, because I can relate to, my wife, she doesn't understand me now when I get angry.
Understand, see me, doesn't feel me. It's like you don't even know who I am. You know that feeling? It's a classic. Yeah. So what I've been noticing, the first response was, and probably you have realized this, is that there's a tendency in all of us to project this outside. Said, but why don't you see me? There must be something in you that you have to fix that you finally can see me. That's what's called a projection. Can we agree? Okay. I did this for a few years. I only ended up in trouble. My wife did not change. Okay, so then I started another way. What I did the same thing and I projected it on myself. I said, well, it's not you anymore. Baby, it's me. So I did the same thing and I projected the stuff on me. And I said, I'm the fuck up. So I have to fix myself. I did this another 5 years. Nothing changed. Okay, so she didn't change, I didn't change, because what I didn't see, it was a way of how I focused. It was a kind of focus that what I called it the off focus. I detected what was off. And I either saw it in her or I saw it in myself. It was a focus. So in the same moment I could realize, so I said, okay, can I allow this feeling in the body of not being seen, understood, felt, just to be here? and to very gently, and that's the clue now, to very gently allowing the focus to relax with this. Don't try to stretch it like this. It's a very gentle, very lovable movement of, can I just let go of that focus? And how does the same thing looks from here? She isn't wrong, I'm not wrong. It's just old pain, and I can say, hey baby, I just don't feel seen. Doesn't make sense. There's no projecting on her, there's no projecting on me. It's just an acknowledgement of an old information in me that goes way back to early states of my development where my parents were not able to meet me. But what disappears is that urge to, I need to have this from you, or I need to fix it in myself. That in that moment, the focus relaxes, it disappears. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That urge, fantastic. Apply to anything where you're focusing on someone, and you will see it works the same way.
As you talk now, you don't have to focus.
No,
As you speak, you are not focusing on.
No.
I need to say this. I need to say that. You
No.
just.
it's like there is no. It's like what happens is there's I don't know, how could I say, there's a focus that is, I don't know, it's just like this, like an embrace, and in that embrace there's words bubbling, and there's a listening of those words, and I said, interesting, I'm learning from these words. Maybe the way you're learning from these words. I would say we learn together from something that is spoken where I don't know where that comes from. It just makes sense. Does it make sense? And it's the moment it's over. It's like it's not even recorded. It's very funny. Can just in the way we're here now together. Can you notice that there's a quality of how we meet each other, but it's not an exclusive meeting. It's not you and me meeting, but it's meeting, and at the same time the whole crowd is included. Can you sense this? It's like it's not a personal meeting between two guys, but it's like consciousness meets consciousness, and there's communication happening, but somehow everybody is part of it. Fantastic. So obviously, what I experience, you experience simultaneously now. So we cannot even say it's my experience, it's our experience, or we're nurtured by one experience that doesn't belong to us. That's non-dual. But I don't do this. Exactly. Then we don't doing it. Quite amazing, huh? It's just, but it's not, I wouldn't even say this, because it's not even, it's happening, but I don't pay attention to what's happening. I just pay attention because there was a question coming. It's so normal that if I would not be invited to speak to you guys, I would never ever mention it. It would be crazy to mention it. It's like you just live it and say, and just enjoy it. And only because somebody asked me a question, there's a response happening. But I would not speak about it. I would play with my kid. That's what I would do. Does it make sense?
Do you believe in free will then? I mean, not believe, but I mean, is there free will? No.
I don't see it's not even if there is free will, I don't see there's no need for it.
No.
I don't know if it exists, but there's no need for it. Because what will is a focus. I want. Will is a focus. If there's no focus, where there's no will. It's all we have. It's magic that it's like, and what a focus is nothing else, is consciousness in motion. That's what it is. The arm of God. And that's all I have for you, and that's all you have for me. We have attention for each other. For one moment, I can kiss you with my attention, and you can kiss me with your attention, and thank you. But that's enough for me. I can move on to the next one. That's what we have for each other, nothing else. I cannot give anyone anything else but my attention for a moment if you want. Beautiful. And it's funny, even while I'm speaking with you, it continues here. Huh? It's interesting. Still, the space. It's like, for me, it's like a big space opening up over there. I don't know if it's you, but it's yeah, yeah. It's just, it's like wow, with a little universe happening over there, and yeah, fun.
So it's about not making things personal.
What is personal?
The hurt feeling.
Yeah, the moment if you're focusing on them, which it's not even you focusing, when the habit happens to focus on the pain. Have you chosen this ever in your life?
No.
No, of course you would never do this. This is a habit. It's a built-in mechanism of our nervous system to prevent the system from pain.
Yeah, but what I noticed is by practicing, doing a lot of meditation, I stopped being so reactive, because that is reactive. If you make it personal and react, if you all the time walking around with this feeling of hurt and left alone and not being seen and whatever.
Okay.
So, and your reaction is constantly that way.
So what you call
that is the information. The emotion originates in the body, and
Yes.
what is the information behind the emotion?
Okay, so there are many. You have mentioned different aspects, and I would like to
Yeah, it's difficult.
make it. Yeah, it's complex.
Yeah.
It's very easy from the basics, but when we go into the automatic functioning of this organism, it's a quite complex happening.
Yeah.
Because in this moment, there's so much happening at the same time that our system very quickly can go into an overwhelm reaction. Like when there's a pain triggered, and we're losing orientation, which is basically like a touch where a trauma in our system is touched, our system can quickly move into an overwhelm reaction.
Yeah, that is just this moment. There's this
Okay.
a flits of a reaction.
Yeah.
Is this a stupid question? Oh my God! All the people look.
Okay, so just break it down. So there's a noticing, some consciousness. You are noticing a response. Okay, let's slow it down a little bit to see what is actually happening. So there's peace, something is happening, and the nervous system on all levels is, I call it, becomes activated. An activation. That's my language. And that activation you have not chosen. Right? No person would choose to be activated. It would be crazy. So it's happening automatically. So what an activation is, as far as I have been exploring it, is that there's an old information triggered that the system has not made peace with. So it's still struggling with. In Western terms, it is not integrated. Integrar, it is pushed away and we dissociate from it. Dissociate means we split ourselves off and we project it outside. Okay? So the way we're splitting ourselves off is through that mechanism of focusing. So to focus is a survival mechanism. It's built-in mechanism of this organism to detect a threat, to make sure that the body stays alert to defend the enemy. It belongs to the older part of our brain.
Yeah, the limbic.
It's like a fight, flight, and freeze mechanism. Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
Automatically.
Yeah.
It's not psychological, neither is it spiritual. It is a built-in biological mechanism of this organism. And it's useful, guys. Sorry. It's very useful. If you don't have it, you would have been killed many times already.
But now it's not useful.
So
There's
now,
no tiger here.
yes. So now there is something that where this mechanism still kicks in and it makes us assume as if there is a threat. And that is where it becomes tricky, because the distinction gets lost between what's happening in tempo real, we say in Spain. What do you mean tempo real? In real time?
Real time. Yeah.
And what is actually memory, where there may has been an actual threat. So where that distinction gets lost, our system makes us respond as if there's a threat, though there's nothing there. So in order to what has been very useful for me to detect this is, since we already have been on this planet for quite a while, so when there's a reaction happening, that I've learned to ask myself if I know that, if that feels old. It's very simple. Does it feel old? And in pretty much all cases, yes, I know that. I have reacted this way a millions of times. So in that moment, you already have a distinction. Said, this is old information. I'm here. I now know that there's a focusing going there, trying to fix that.